Hi, this is Gardner. Welcome to Pensions Made Simple, and today we're talking about one of my favourite topics, charges. Now, we're talking specifically about personal pensions here. Now, all pensions have charges, but depending on the type of scheme you've got and the provider, there could be a huge variety and difference in the charges that you pay. So let's set the scene. I talk to clients every day about their pension plans, and the one thing that most people have in common is they do not have a clue what they're paying in charges. Sometimes I hear the term, I've got a frozen pension. Now, I think that term is completely misleading because that sort of insinuates there is not a lot going on. But in reality, the older the scheme, generally the higher the charges. And I'm going to talk to you about 7 charges that potentially your scheme may have or may be being exposed to. Now, if you've got a more modern type of pension, you may not be exposed to all of these, because in 2015 the government imposed a charge cap, but that was mainly related to workplace pensions when it brought and changed the legislation to make sure employers were funding pensions for their employees. So generally within these types of schemes, the workplace pension, there will be a cap on those pensions. So what we're talking about are pensions that you've maybe built up outside of your employer or maybe historically. So let's talk about the 7 lots of charges that you could be subject to with your pension plan. So number 1 and the most common is an annual management charge. Now, all pensions will carry this, and this annual management charge is to cover the administration of the plan. In some cases it might also include the fund management, but mainly it's the administration. Number 2, you could also have policy admin fees. So this is just normally a monthly charge to cover additional administration. One leading provider out there is charging £65 a year as an admin fee on top of their normal charges, so that's the sort of charge you might be looking at. Number 3, bid offer spread. This is a 5% charge. This is the difference between what you buy units at and what you sell units at. And this is normally 5%. So any extra money, if you've got an old legacy plan, every time you make a monthly contribution or make an ad hoc payment, you could be losing 5% of that contribution. Number 4, switching fees. You might have done a little bit of research yourself and realised that you may not be in the right funds. You may want to go higher risk, you may want to go lower risk, you may want to have more diversity. Again, depending on the scheme you've got, you may incur fees for switching funds inside your pension. And whilst we're talking about fund management, number 5, fund management fees. Now, this can be a massive difference in the type of funds you're invested in, from the sort of tracker funds that can be a little bit cheaper to the more actively managed discretionary fund managers. You could see a huge difference in price in terms of the charges that are coming out of your plan, and it's not unusual in some schemes to see fund charges as high as 2% a year. Number 6, transfer or exit penalties. If you realise that your scheme that you've got is maybe not the most competitive, or you want to bring it to your employer, into your employer scheme, you could or may incur transfer or exit penalties to get that money out of the fund. Number 7, advisor fees. Now, I am an advisor and we do provide ongoing advice to clients, but this is the one that drives me bananas. You might have a policy that was set up by an advisor and he set up ongoing advice fees or renewal commission, and what's supposed to be happening is that advisor should be delivering a service in terms of your policy. He should be reviewing the plan, he should be offering you reviews, he should be giving you feedback on what's going on. Unfortunately, what's happened in a lot of cases over the years, either advisory firms have gone out of business, or maybe they've lost contact with the client. But what happens is these fees continue to come out of your plan. So in a good majority of cases where we're talking to clients, they could have a pension plan where they're paying for financial and ongoing advice and are not receiving anything at all. Now, those fees will continue to come out until you say enough and you stop them, and that's something we'll be telling you how to do and what to do in terms of looking at those fees. You know, what you should not be paying for something that you're not receiving in terms of service you're not getting. So, what we're generally seeing out there is an average fee for pensions of probably about 1 to 1.1%. What that means is on a fund size of £100,000, that's over £1,000 in fees. At the worst case scenario, we're seeing stuff 2% plus. Realistically, if you were setting up a new pension now with £100,000, the charges will be somewhere between maybe 0.38 and 0.5. So you're looking at charges closer to £400 a year as opposed to £1,000 plus, which is what we say. So we absolutely believe what you should be doing is reviewing your pensions, looking at the charges and making sure you're not getting ripped off and you're not paying more charges and more fees than you need to be paying. And here's the thing that I find completely unacceptable. There is no obligation from the pension provider to provide you with an annual statement that details the charges. Now, not all providers are the same. Sometimes on your annual statement it will tell you what you're paying in charges, but my general feeling is the older the plans are, the less likely that is to be the case. So lenders are sending out a statement which will tell you how much you've paid in and what the fund's worth and maybe even projections, but they don't tell you what you're physically paying month by month, year by year in charges. And I just think that is outrageous, and I think the time has come for people to take control of this and bring those pension providers to account. And if you're paying fees that are higher than the norm than you need to do something about it. So this is what you need to do. You need to find your pension statements that you last received from your pension provider, and you need to get yourself a highlighter and you need to go through that statement and identify the charges that are coming out. If that information isn't there, you need to get in touch with your pension provider and you need to request they send you a statement and detail all the charges that are coming out. Now if you request it, they have to supply you with this information, but you do need to chase them and get the information off them. Alternatively, if you do have a financial advisor that you work with, talk to them and they will generally undertake this bit of work at their cost, and they will do it on your behalf before you then move on to the next stage to determine whether you're going to move the money or you're going to leave it where it is. But I urge you to take a look at what you've got, because there are millions of pounds being taken out of people's pension plans on an annual basis for charges that are far above and beyond what they should be paying. So I hope that helps. I look forward to your feedback on your questions. I've set up a Facebook group, Pensions Made Simple, where I'm going to put some resource up there. What I will do is I will put up a pro forma that you can use to send to your pension provider to get this information on charges. And I'd love you to join the group and give me some feedback. Any feedback that you want to give on this video or any help you want, I'm more than happy to help you with that. But as always, look after yourself, look after your money, because money matters.